Aita for defending my son, 15, after he hit his teacher? Basically, as the title says. Earlier this week, my wife and I were told to come to school immediately because our son, Adam, hit his math teacher. This was very shocking to us as we'd never had any problems with him. In fact, I'd say we'd done a great job raising him. Until now, at school, we were always praised for how well he was doing, how many friends he had, how everyone thought he was calm and nice, etc. Meanwhile, on Monday, the moment we entered school, things were strange. First, as soon as we saw Adam and wanted to talk to him, his other teacher pulled us away and immediately ordered us into the principal's office. We weren't allowed to exchange a single word. The walk down that hallway is something I don't think I'll ever forget. It was as if the walls themselves were closing in, plastered with motivational posters about respect and honesty, while every staff member we passed avoided eye contact. My wife kept looking over her shoulder, clearly wanting to catch a glimpse of Adam, but we were being shepherded too quickly, like suspects rather than parents. I remember feeling the hairs rise on the back of my neck. Something was off. We were ushered into the principal's office without ceremony. The door clicked shut behind us, and instantly the atmosphere shifted. The blinds were half drawn, sunlight slanting across stacks of paperwork on her desk. A faint smell of coffee and disinfectant lingered in the room. But what struck me most was the look on their faces. The principal, stern and unreadable, and another teacher sitting stiffly beside her. No warmth, no reassurance, just an air of judgment that settled over us like a heavy blanket. Then they immediately started telling us about the suspension, that the math teacher was at the nurse's office, and that it was unclear what other consequences would be, etc. The words were rapid, clinical, almost rehearsed. It just seemed really strange to me. No one gave us any context, any timeline of events, nothing to help us understand how Adam, the boy who never even raised his voice at home, could possibly have hit a teacher. I started asking questions. My voice was calm, but inside I could feel my pulse quickening. What happened? Why? When? The answers were vague, like they were pulling random phrases from thin air. During class, he hit the teacher. There was an injury. Each fragment only fueled my unease. I pressed harder, leaning forward, my hands flat on the desk. That doesn't answer my question. What led up to it? What did my son do? Or what was done to him? You can't expect us to just accept these half answers. They didn't want to say why or what started the whole incident. The way they shifted in their seats, glancing at each other, told me they weren't used to being challenged. That only made my suspicion grow. So I said the only thing I could think of at that moment. I wanted to see the recording of the entire incident. Classes are monitored, so there had to be footage. I wanted to see my son, hear the context, understand what really happened. And above all, I wanted to talk to Adam directly. Without those two things, I told them, I would not sign anything or get involved any further. That's when the atmosphere in the room cracked. The principal's face froze and the other teacher's lips pressed into a thin line. It was as if I had said something forbidden. They stammered through a response, trying to convince me that I had no right to demand such things, that I couldn't leave the office without first agreeing to the suspension. My wife squeezed my arm under the table, silently begging me to ease off, but I could feel a fire building inside me. I'd dealt with bureaucrats before, and I recognized the tactics. Overwhelm you with paperwork, bully you with authority, and hope you're too intimidated to push back. But this wasn't some office mistake with numbers or forms. This was